guys, welcome to DoYourDevotions.com today. It is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday is ice skating. Don't forget, make sure you're here at the church at 9 a.m. Let's jump into today's devotion. We're going to study 1 Samuel chapter 13. This is a pretty interesting passage. It's one you might not understand if you read on your own. So make sure, why don't you listen to the entire explanation, and then I think as you read through it, you might understand it a little bit better. What you can also do is maybe go online to another website and maybe to BibleGateway.com or to blb.org, and you can actually look up this same passage and maybe read it in another translation. That might help you understand it a little bit better. Let me start out. 1 Samuel chapter 13. It starts out with King Saul, and it begins just talking about how he is reigning. And it starts out in the very first verse by saying, Saul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel. So within 2 years into his reign, this scenario that we're about to read happens. And basically, he is about to go into a battle, into a little war against the Philistines, who they're known to fight quite often. And it says in verse 2 that Saul chose him 3,000 men, 3,000 Israelites to go with him to battle. So these 3,000 men, they start heading toward the direction of battle, and basically they get over to where the fight is going to take place, or to near the area, and they realize that the Philistines are coming. And let me read what this passage says that the Philistines are coming with. It says, remember, the Israelites had 3,000 men, and it says in verse 5, and the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel. 30,000 chariots, and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. In other words, you've got 3,000 Israelites going against 30,000 chariots, 6,000 men on horses, and then a bunch of other soldiers that are just going up there with their swords and their machine guns and stuff like that. And we continue reading. Listen to this. Verse 9 is really, 9 through about 14 is where the most impacting part of this story is. Because we see in this passage that it seems that what the king does is good. It seems that he does what should be the normal thing. What would be the right thing? Let me read you verses 9 through 13 and we'll talk about it. Verse 9 says this, and Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings, and he offered the burnt offering. See, he waited there, and if you read verses 7 and 8, it explains that Saul waited there for Samuel to come, and Samuel didn't come at the exact moment that he was supposed to be there. So Saul decides, well, I'll just do the priest's job. I'll be the one to offer the burnt offerings and the sacrifices to God. I'll make the sacrifice. And that seems like something good. And he actually even justifies it. Let's keep reading. Verse 9 says, and he offered the burnt offering. And verse 10 says, and it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of the offering, behold, Samuel finally came. And Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. So Saul's going out there, he probably deep down inside knows that what he did is wrong and that he shouldn't have. So he kind of goes out to say, hey Samuel, how you doing? We missed you. We were a little bit late. We were worried about you, so we went ahead and did this the offering. And he says that. And read with me in verse 11. It says, and Samuel said, what hast thou done? In other words, what are you thinking? What have you done? You ever had that said to you? Somebody said that to you before? And Saul said, because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed. In other words, Samuel, it's your fault. You didn't come when you said you were going to come. And so I just went ahead. Wow. My computer just started talking. So verse 12 says, therefore I said to the Philistines that they will come down now upon me at Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. So I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering. Now, get this. He is absolutely justifying his actions. Well, Samuel, you weren't here, and so even though I didn't want to, I just made myself go ahead and make this offering. Now, let's jump back real quick. Why is it wrong that he made this offering? See, God asked us to give offerings, so why is it wrong that Saul did? Well, at this time, there was a man who was in charge of making offerings to God, and that was Samuel. And God said, Samuel will be the ones to give offerings. And Saul thought, because God made me king, I can kind of do whatever I want. And he took, ready, here's the phrase, he took matters into his own hands. And instead of trusting God, he did it his way. You know, every time we see this in the Bible, whether it's with Abraham and Isaac or whether it's with Joseph and his brothers, and all over and over and over, whenever we see man take matters into his own hands, it brings problems. And you know what? In your life and in my life, whenever we see a problem in our life, maybe we're standing on the battlefront and we're looking around and there's 36,000 plus warriors standing all around us looking to come and attack us. You know what we tend to do? We tend to take matters into our own hands, saying, God, I'm sure that this is what you would want me to do, God. Instead of turning to God in prayer and in supplication and focusing on Him, saying, God, I trust you. I trust your plan for my life. You know what? That's exactly what Saul did not do. It says this. Verse 13 is very powerful because you see the destruction already. Saul's been reigning 2 years, and let's see what Samuel says. And Samuel said to Saul, Thou hast done foolishly. When we take matters into our own hands instead of trusting God, we do things foolishly. It says, Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. Look at what God would have done if you would have obeyed him. Wasn't it just yesterday that Samuel was telling everybody, if you will obey God and your king will obey God, God will bless your nation forever. Wasn't that yesterday? Wow. 2 years past, it's all done. And then listen to verse 14. But since you've done this, but now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee. In other words, you didn't trust God, you didn't obey God, you will suffer the consequences. That's powerful. What are you failing to trust God with in your life? What situations? Is it school? Is it a home situation? Is it with your parents? Is it whatever? What situations in your life are you failing to trust God? Trust Him. Obey Him. And that's where you'll follow right down the path that He has for your life. That's the smartest thing to do. Thanks for coming to DeerDevotions.com today. Post your comments below. We'll come back and we'll see you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.